Welcome to the Discover Montcalm podcast, where we're going to take a look at the communities, the businesses, the attractions, and the people that make up Montcalm County. Here is your podcast host, Dwayne Weed.
Hello, and welcome to the Discover Montcalm podcast, where we're promoting communities, people, attractions, and businesses. Today, I have Michelle and Bethany with me, and they're from the United Way, and they've got a program there that we're going to dive right into and learn more about. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
What is VITA? It's a program offered by the United Way. And if you want, remember back on episode 52, we had Terry in, and she talked all about the United Way. So this is just a continuation, but this is diving into your program called VITA. What does VITA stand for?
I'll take that question. So VITA stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, and it's a program that helps people file their taxes at no cost for households that have an income of under $64,000 for this upcoming tax season. So we prepare taxes for free. And
I take it it's all over the Montcalm and Ionia County, because United Way services, United Way services a lot, but for what we're working on here, it's the two, Montcalm and Ionia County. Where are some of the locations that they can go to get the information between the two counties?
Yeah, so specifically for Montcalm County, we offer 3 locations. The first one is going to be in Howard City at the library, the Reynolds Township Library, and then also at the West Michigan Works in Greenville, as well as the Stanton Library, which is called the White Pine District Library.
We all got our notes.
Yeah.
Can't remember everything. Michelle, your job is pretty much the VITA program?
Yes.
Can you tell me from what are you dealing with day to day?
So the big piece right now is we're really ramping up on volunteer recruitment for our VITA program. Part of our VITA program, the first part, right, is volunteer. And so all of our volunteers are trained to provide free tax preparation services to the community. And we can't do it without our community members being able to support our program.
What kind of qualifications, if somebody's interested in being a volunteer, what kind of qualifications do they have to help in this program?
So there's not a lot of major qualifications. I think a lot of people, when they hear the word taxes, they think that they need to be an accountant or in business or something along that lines, but they need to have no prior experience in taxes to be able to be a volunteer. Also limited computer skills is also something that we are able to accept. So we have different roles for our VITA program. Being the first one, obviously, is being a tax preparer. Do have to have some computer skills in order to do that. But that is meeting with clients one-on-one and helping prepare their taxes at no cost to them. We also have roles of an intake specialist, which help people gather documents, help support putting all of their forms together and intake paperwork that is required by the IRS. And then we also have greeter positions as well. So for people who do lack some basic computer skills, just being able to greet people when they walk in the door and feel comfortable in that setting, right? Because taxes are a stressful time for a lot of folks.
They really can be. For your volunteers, what kind of requirement or do you have for how much time that they'll be volunteering for?
So we do require training prior to. It's required by the IRS. So for a tax preparer, it could be anywhere from 10 to 15 hours worth of training prior to tax season, which can be done virtually or in person. We also ask that people will volunteer a minimum of 40 hours during tax season time. Most folks do that with a 4-hour shift per week. They like to just stick to the same day each week.
It's a lot easier to balance one's schedule, especially when you're volunteering. If you know that every time it's the same day, the same time slot, it's a lot easier for that. Because I'm sure you've got people that work, people that are at home, you've got a whole wide variety. What kind of hours does these places offer?
Yeah, so specifically our Howard City location at the library, we do every other Saturday from 10 to 2. And then we also do a Thursday from about 10 to 2 as well. So typically during the day.
So the big thing is wherever this is located, because you said there was one in Greenville as well.
Yep, one in Greenville, one in Stanton, and then in Ionia County, we have one in the city of Ionia, well, two in the city of Ionia, and then one in Belding as well.
Okay. And the hours, you just have, where do they go to find out when these places are open?
Yeah, so anyone can call 211 and ask for free tax prep services, and then 211 can guide them to, whichever location is most convenient or whichever scheduling or schedule is most convenient.
You mentioned 211. What is 211?
So 211 is a community resource across all counties in the state of Michigan that provides access to resources for anything that the community might need. So whether it is access to food, shelters, utility assistance, or even filing for tax preparation
So when somebody
services.
calls it, just say, I'm looking for tax preparation in this county, which would be Montcalm or Ionia, as far as your office goes. So all you got to do is just tell them what you're looking for, where you're at, and 211 will get them to the right place.
Absolutely.
Okay, that sounds great. And that's great, because I think I'd heard the 211 before. Matter of fact, Terry must have told me. That's why I'm like, what is it? But then I forgot. So it's good that we let our viewers know what that 211 is, because it's a valuable resource, especially for somebody that, maybe they're coming up short for food, or maybe they're coming up for other things. But in this case, tax preparation. For the tax preparation, is this something that only happens after the first of the year, or is it happening 365 days a year? Can you give me some insight on that?
Yeah, so not quite 365 days, more like 300 days a year. We do offer free tax prep services. Typically, though, our volunteers mainly volunteer from about the end of January to April. But we do offer summer volunteering opportunities. However, if the deadline has passed and someone still needs to have their return prepared, we still are in the office all summer offering those services, and they would just need to call 211 again.
I was going to say 211 is the magic number for when people want to get the information about tax preparation or any other community services that are out there. But for the tax preparation, just call 211. Is there any opportunities available for people that may not feel comfortable, like meeting with somebody one-on-one? Are there any opportunities like that?
Yeah, so we do offer virtual tax preparation opportunities. So if an individual does want to volunteer from the comforts of their home and pop out tax returns for individuals, that is an opportunity. And our training is all online and self-paced, so they can do that also from the comfort of their home.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the online support. You said there was how many hours of prep for somebody that comes in as a new volunteer? About how many hours would they expect to be given the training?
The training takes about 15 hours for the average person. Some people move a little quicker if they have more tax experience. And for someone who's never done it, might take a little bit longer. They might have to go back and rewatch videos just to get a better understanding and help them pass the certification exam.
And that's where you say it's self-paced, because is all of the training online, or is there some in person?
There's some in person as well.
Okay.
So not just online, there's some in person as well. The majority is offered online though, and that's what most of our volunteers do choose to do. And I do want to emphasize that there's a lot of support throughout training. So we're not just going to say, click this link and then they go off and they're alone. Myself, I oversee Montcalm, Ionia, and Gratiot counties. So I'll always be there if they have any questions. We do a lot of practice sessions virtually using like Zoom or Teams, something like that. But I'm also offering in-person practice sessions as well for people who don't feel comfortable practicing online as well. So there's a good mix of online, in-person training, and I'm always available.
So the bottom line is, if you want to volunteer, you have a way to make it easy.
Oh, absolutely.
So even if someone's not comfortable, you can take that person and basically walk them hand in hand through things until they are.
Oh, yeah.
So if somebody's got a heart for volunteering, but may not be comfortable with this topic, you're there to help.
Yeah, not only us, but our volunteers as well. We have wonderful volunteers that have volunteered for VITA for many years, and they love nothing more than to welcome somebody that's new and guide them along the way.
What does VITA stand for again?
Volunteer income tax assistance.
So it's there, and in the guideline is, you said 64,000 and less?
Yep, for households with an income of 64,000 or less, and then every year that does increase little by little.
So the big thing is if you need help, call 211 and ask.
Absolutely.
Because that way, if it does change, I'm sure there's been some success stories, some feel good. Like, I think this program is working. Have either of you experienced some of those that you could share with us?
Yeah, so I brought some statistics for Montcalm County alone. And so for this past tax season, we were able to service 151 households from Montcalm County. Those 151 households received $163,217 in federal refunds. And then we estimate that we were able to save those households around $33,000 in tax preparation fees.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and how long has this program been in existence?
I believe since 1969. It was started by the IRS. Now, how long has it been in existence in Montcalm County? I'm not quite sure.
Okay. And fair question.
Yeah.
You know, and we were talking about where somebody could go to volunteer. So where can somebody go to volunteer?
Yeah, so they can call me directly at my office, United Way, Montcalm, Ionia counties. They can call 616-794-9840.
Okay, one more time, because if somebody's listening to a podcast, they may have to pull over and write it down. So what's the phone number again?
616-794-9840.
And this is available on YouTube as well, and that will be up on the screen the whole time. So you can always catch our stuff on YouTube at Discover Montcalm Podcast, as well as Instagram and Facebook, and go to discovermontcalmpodcast.com, and you can check out all the episodes that we have there. Somebody that wants to volunteer, what's the process that they go through? Is there any background checks? Is there anything that you need to know before they come in the door? Can you explain that?
I'll let you take that.
Yeah, so once they connect with me, if they call me, I'll be able to email them a link. They'll fill out an application, and we do require a background check. And that's one of the first things that we start in the process of applying to be a VITA volunteer.
Okay, I'm sure that, there's important things to know.
Yeah.
And is there any question that I have not asked that you feel is important to add to this before we start closing up this episode?
I think just that I would like to emphasize that tax prep, don't let it scare you. I know that deters a lot of volunteers when they hear the word taxes, but it's really easy. The software mostly does the calculations. We do a lot of data entry, and it's actually a lot of fun. It's a community that we've built, and we're always welcoming new members.
Okay, so don't be afraid. Anybody that's listening, don't be afraid. If you want to volunteer, you're there to help. Your office number again?
616-794-9840.
And you can call there to become a volunteer or to get more information. And we said to liveunitedm-i.org. You can go to that website, which is liveunitedm-i.org, and there's a link there for volunteer. And that, if you're looking online, you can go there to follow that rabbit trail. But bottom line, if you need the help, 211. Otherwise, your number, once again,
616-794-9840.
As we wrap up, I'm going to change the topic just a little bit. What do you think, in both of you're from you live in Ionia and you're in the Lansing area, that you service the Montcalm and Ionia areas. What does buying local mean to you, and why?
For me, buying local is just really giving the money back to the community, and not forcing those dollars out of those communities, right? So being able to support small businesses and that's what I think is a great benefit of our VITA program, right? We're using those tax prep fees that are saved in our community are then going to be able to be used by our clients to support our local economy.
Okay. How about you?
The first thing that comes to mind right now is, well, since it's fall, apple orchards, and I just want to stop at a local apple orchard. Like on my way home, I want to go to Anderson's and, pick up some apples and some cider and donuts. So that's the first thing I thought of when you said buying local.
And it's important for that because when you stop at whatever business you're stopping at, and somewhere down the road, you're asking them to donate to the United Way to help, that money comes because people have shopped at their place and they're able to give money back because you're helping keep their doors open. It's a circle. It's a cycle. If you don't support the business, they can't support the local church teams, the ball teams, the schools, the United Way. I mean, the list goes on and on that. You've both traveled a little bit around Montcalm County. In your mind, why should someone discover Montcalm County?
Well, recently, my husband and I flipped a house in Howard City on Indian Lakes. And Indian Lakes, I didn't even know existed. And I grew up in Baldwin, constantly went to Meyer and Greenville. I didn't know Indian Lakes existed. And it is a absolutely beautiful area, wonderful people. And so to me, that would be a reason to discover Montcalm.
Montcalm has a lot of lakes. I mean, why do you think the roads have a lot of curves?
Right.
Or dead ends? Because there's something in its way, which is important. I want to thank both of you for coming in and talking about the VITA program through the United Way. Again, VITA stands for?
Volunteer Income Tax Assistance.
So if you need help, you have a place to go. Phone number again?
616-794-9840.
Or call 211, and that will get you to it as well. So thanks again for stopping by. Remember to buy and shop locally.
Connect and subscribe to Discover Montcalm Podcast at discovermontcalmpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Discover Montcalm Podcast. To be featured in an upcoming show, contact Dwayne at 231-250-9624. Remember to subscribe at discovermontcalmpodcast.com.